That's this address right here, right there. Send that to me, and I will use it forthwith. John Kerry, the anti-war protester who is not fit to serve as Secretary of the State, is serving as Secretary of the State, and he has apparently sold America out to the United Nations. Secretary of State John Kerry on Woden's Day signed a controversial UN treaty on arms. It's not just controversial. This thing's illegal, as far as I'm concerned. A controversial UN treaty on arms regulation riling U.S. lawmakers who vow the Senate will not ratify the agreement. As he signed the document, Kerry called the treaty a significant step in addressing illegal gun sales while claiming it would also protect country. It's protecting gun rights. Don't you understand that John Kerry is on your side? Why don't you get that? What is wrong with you? This is about keeping weapons out of the hands of terrorists and rogue actors. This is about reducing the risk of international transfers of conventional arms that would be used to carry out the world's worst crimes. This is about keeping Americans safe and keeping America strong, he said. This treaty will not diminish anyone's freedom. And it just doesn't fill me with that warm, gooey feeling that you're really interested, John, in my rights. I'm not buying it. You're selling it. I'm not buying it. In fact, the treaty recognizes the freedom of both individuals and states to obtain, possess, and use... here we go. This is it. This is how he gets it. Use arms for legitimate purposes. Legitimate purposes. Who defines that? Who defines legitimate purposes? Obviously, the government and the New World United Nations order. That's who would define, and it would be illegitimate to possess and use a firearm or have a firearm for the purpose of protecting and defending the Constitution or your personal property. Here we go. You all understand there's going to be a war. Somehow, some way. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. But it's going to happen. U.S. government buying up AK-47 rifles. Secretary of State John Kerry signing the United Nations Small Arms Treaty is nothing more than empty symbolism, and President Obama will get nowhere in his latest attempt to advance gun control legislation, says Bill Frady, host of Lock and Load Radio, presented by Gun Owners of America, who also noted that the U.S. government has been buying up AK-47 rifles and ammunition. I've mentioned my friend, pastor friend, Reg Kelly, who is not only a pastor, but he's a businessman. Him and his son, Zach, they run a factory down in Mountain Grove, Missouri. Hiring people, American jobs. They manufacture home heating devices, these outdoor wood heaters, wood furnaces. These things are amazing. They make and manufacture and will set up for you. My mind went blank. What happens when a storm comes? You need a shelter. That's what it is. Storm shelter. All steel storm shelter. These things are cool. And so he decided to get into manufacturing bullets, shells and shots and explosive ordnance. That's what he got into. He announced that here when we had our God, Guns, and Liberty conference. Then he says we're close. He had a contract with a company for like 2 million rounds of brass so that they could pack them with explosives, gunpowder, and lead, and make bullets for people's guns. Make lots of them and sell them. And they're getting ready. They had the machine ordered, and then the company that he contracted with called and said, "We can't do it." What? We can't send you the brass. Why? We just can't. And all of a sudden, a contract for 2 million rounds of brass gone. So he was looking at other suppliers, and he said, all the brass in this country is going somewhere. No one seems to know where it's going. So here we have the government buying up AK-47s. They're buying up bullets. They're buying up ammunition everywhere. Why? You have to ask why. And then we went down there a couple weeks ago, and I asked him how things were going. He said, "Mike, they're holding us up on background checks. They won't let us proceed. The government called and said, we need to do we need to get more into your private life, into your personal life. We need to really find out who you are, Reg Kelly. We need to know." And so they're holding him up. Here is a man, all he wants to do is exercise his constitutionally guaranteed rights to keep and to bear arms and to manufacture something in the good old USA. And his own government won't let him do it. There's something wrong, bad wrong. California signs law raising the minimum wage to $10 an hour by 2016. The law raises minimum pay in the most populous state from its current rate of $8 per hour to $9 an hour by July 2014 and $10 an hour by January 2016. The state with the highest minimum wage currently is Washington, where employers must pay at least $9.19 per hour. The measure won support from, guess which party? Which party voted to do this? You just pick a party. Here is another one. I'm kind of running through some of this stuff because I really want to get to the Bible stuff here. If you believe that you are at the mercy of your genetic code, great news, you're not. According to the science of epigenetics, the study of how environmental factors outside of DNA influence changes in gene expression. I didn't know genes express themselves, but apparently they do. They have a form of expression. Stem cells and even DNA can be altered. Listen to this. Listen to this. Through magnetic fields, heart coherence, positive mental states, and intention. Now, I don't know if this article is even true, and I'll tell you why. A lot of this stuff about DNA augmentation. Oh, look. Look. I just saw. I've never seen this before. See the hexagons? I don't know where they got the graphic from, but it's pretty interesting. But anyway, some of this stuff is put out by New Agers. The people in the New Age invent this stuff. They want you to believe it's true. They say Russian scientists. Really? Which ones? Which Russian scientists? And what university were they working in? They say that they found the key to unlocking. There's your clue right there. The key to unlocking your DNA, and you can do it. You can alter your own DNA, changing DNA through intention. Just change it. And stop and think about what Jesus said. Jesus actually said, you can't do that. He said, which one of you, just by thinking, can add a cubit to your stature? And so why is Joel Osteen, Joyce Myers, all of the happy charismatics, word faith people, why are they going around? Why is Anthony Robbins doing this? Why is Dr. Oz doing this? And Rick Warren and Oprah? And why are all these people telling everybody that you can just change your whole life by changing all your thought patterns. Never say anything negative. Never say, that cracked me up, because if you say, that cracked me up, you might split in half because you said that. Your body might fall. All your arms will fall off of your body if you say, that cracked me up, because your words have force to them. And so they're trying to tell you, and let me get down to little practicalities here. You guys out there listening to me, you be careful of the people you're associating with and the websites you're reading and the junk news that you're listening to, especially when it comes to health and nutrition. Because there are people out there who are trying to coerce you and convince you that you can alter and therefore prohibit your sinful nature just by thinking thoughts or eating wheatgrass or whatever. They're trying to tell you that you can alter the curse that's in your flesh, the law that's in your flesh. That's what Paul said in Romans 7. The law that's in your flesh, the curse, where the flesh cannot do good. It has no capacity to do good whatsoever. But they tell you that if you just change your thoughts and you read the right stuff and you hang around the right people and just flip a switch, then all of a sudden you're never going to say cuss words again. You're never going to be angry again. You're never going to lose your temper again. You're never going to hit somebody again. You're never going to want to sleep with somebody ever again. All of a sudden now you can just turn off. If that was the case, why did Christ die? And why does the Bible tell us that we are crucified with Him so that we might live? And I know some people that were being heavily influenced by a pastor who was reading, you know what, I'm going to mention the name. And I don't know to what extent this guy had an influence over them. Maybe they just carried it too far. I know that in the past, Bill Schneblin stood for the King James Bible. I know that in the past he has done that. And he still says, or the last time I read anything from him, like a Facebook post, that he still stands behind it 100%. My problem with Bill, and I have never talked to him, I've never met him, I pray for him because I like where he came from. And I like some of the things that he said. But he has gone to wearing a head covering, which in the Scriptures is forbidden of men. But he has adopted the Hebrew lifestyle in his talk, his mannerisms, his doctrine. And I'm not comfortable with that. But he's not my servant. He's God's. So I let God take care of him. But Bill, as you know, wrote a lot about the occult, and he had come from a very bad occult background. This pastor was telling these people in his church